Hello again, whiskey friends. Welcome back. It's Kelsey here in the Whiskey Riff Lounge. Just get back from Kentucky doing some picks, and I thought, why not do my best of 2023 thus far? So let's get this show started, and we'll jump right in. Welcome back, guys. Thanks so much for all of the support, you guys watching these videos, Patreon guys, helping us out, grow the channel. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe. And as I go through these bottles, if you have some of these, please leave the comments down below as to what your thoughts are, what you thought about the bottle, what the price point was, everything like that, so that we can kind of have more of a dialogue. We want to get you guys involved as much as possible. So we have a lot to do in a short amount of time this far. So we're going to jump right into this top 10 thus far. Kind of want to start out with one that I really, really liked, but didn't put in just because it was kind of an oddball and it's not really fair to everything else that's in the top 10. But my 10 / honorable mention is the Super Vat. Now, guys are like, what the is Super Vat, right? But Super Vat was made by a buddy of mine in a group in South Carolina. What they did is he had a turkey barrel, and I think it was like 23% of the turkey barrel was filled with pre-90 Dusties. The rest was all Russell Reserve picks. There was also some Master's Keep 17, as well as some older picks as well, Russell's picks. So it was really kind of a combination. But this guy right here, man, as you can see, I've really shared a lot with everybody because this isn't one that you're probably going to be able to ever see or get. But it definitely was one of the better whiskeys that I drank this year by far as turkey goes. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Keith and those guys who did that. Coming in at 10, this is one that Jeff helped me secure. This is the Nash Tucky 8-year-old. I really, really enjoyed this one. This one had a brighter feel to the mouth as well as the palate than some of the other ones that I had. But it's just you let this sucker sit out for just a few minutes of air and it just sweetens up and gets really, really, really good. So coming in at number 10, we've got that pick. And then I know everybody's going to think I'm biased because I picked this, but Darrell had one in here too, but both of these picks have been really, really good. This is our Blue Note pick that I did with the Turks. It's a 5.5-year-old Green River distillate, super short barrel. There were only 30 bottles out of that barrel. So super concentrated, super viscous for a young whiskey. This has a lot of oak and a lot of depth and a lot of concentration of flavors. So if you guys on Patreon missed out on this one, we'd love to send you out some samples, let you at least taste it. But this comes in at number 9. This scored just below, like I think an 82 or an 83. This next one is one that I did a review on that I really enjoyed. So this one is the Exceptional series made by, my brain just went, Rare Character. Sorry, brain froze. This is most likely Jim Beam juice, but it is cast strength at 102. And this was just a phenomenal 12-year whiskey. A little pricier than what you would pay for a 12-year Jim Beam, but it has a lot of flavor to it. And it was really one of my favorites this past year in regards to whiskey in general. Now, this next one is an all-time favorite, I think, for all three of us. It's on all three of our lists. This is the Kelvin 5. These guys right here are putting out exceptional whiskey. Shout out to Bill and Bob over at Foregate, man. These with a just fantastic whiskey, but more incredible people. Like just salt of the earth, incredible people, love to share their whiskey, love to, try new things. I got to taste some of their newer stuff that's coming out, and holy cow, it's going to be phenomenal. So I always tell everybody, hey, what Foregate bottle should I get if I'm just going to get one? The Kelvin series is always what you should get. I mean, I've never, ever been disappointed at all with this Foregate Kelvin 5 series. So thank you, Bill and Bob. You guys are putting out great stuff. Phenomenal whiskey here. And this one was Kentucky Straight whiskey, finished in Australian sherry and dark rum cast. I forgot what it was, but phenomenal job of blending these whiskeys together and putting together in other casks. These guys are really phenomenal at what they do. And yes, it may be more expensive, but I guarantee you are paying for really good juice in this. So if you see any of those Kelvin series, you really need to make sure that you're picking those up for the price is always typically around between $190 and a little over $200 some places, depending on what you're getting. This next bottle is close to my heart. I recently just got it. I got back from a turkey pick, but I went back to this one. It was like, holy cow, this is phenomenal. This bottle was $50. If you guys ever see these bottles out for this price, you need to buy as many as you possibly can. This is a Russell's Reserve pick that was in our, about an hour north of us here. This is an 8-year Tyrone. I don't know if I can get that to focus or not. Yeah, there we go. Tyrone Q pick. And man alive, is this one a good one. And it just all depends on the warehouses, man. Each one has a special, flavor profile, has a consistency profile as far as from Rickhouse to Rickhouse. We were just in Rickhouse A. It was built in the late 1800s. Freaking crazy that we were doing picks in that warehouse. And he's like, yeah, just go ahead. If you need to dump something out, just throw it in the dirt. It's it's over 120 years old. You're not going to hurt it. But man, it was just a special experience. So thank you to Jason and Scott for that experience. But this one is a Tyrone Q. It's 8 years old. And I always, if I see these out, man, I always pick them up because some of them are special gems and the rest are just really good whiskey. But this one was special for me. It was just all around just a great flavor experience drinking. I tried to hide it from myself because I'll drink all of it because it's that good. So in spot, let's see, what is this? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. That was 6. We have a tie for 5th place. So 2 bottles that one of them I just recently got and was blown away by. The other one I got and was blown away by about 2 weeks ago. So I think this bottle right here was on all 3 of our list as well. This is the Dram Code Knob Creek 9-year store pick. And man alive, this has to be one of the best Knob Creeks I've ever had. I know each one of us has said that, but I'm telling you, this pick group that picked this 9-year in California, Big Vic, thank you for helping me acquire this. But man, such a great whiskey for the price point. My goodness gracious. This one in the Russells, I mean, you can hardly beat for $50 to $70 in between there. I mean, this is a 9-year whiskey, and it's just phenomenal all the way from the beginning to the end. So that scored the same score as this one. Now, many of you may not know this one. Jeff and Darrell have not tasted it yet, but oh my gosh, they're going to love this as well. I know this is Nashville Barrels, aged 4 years, Founders 14. So this was their limited edition release that just came out probably just a few weeks ago. It is 8 years old. It's 127.42. So the story behind this is they got these barrels on November 1st in 2019. And then COVID hit and they sat on these barrels. They wanted to do something special with it. So they released this 8-year limited edition. And I, to be honest with you, was roll of the dice. Like I saw Kelvin barrel, and that's, to be honest with you, that's really the reason I bought it. Because I loved just about everything I've ever had in a Kelvin barrel. They're just doing incredible things at their cooperage. And we're just acquired by another company, so I'll be interested to see kind of what happens with this group. But Nashville Barrel Company, 8 years old, man. This is just full of rich brown sugars, fruit. Has an incredible finish. The nose on this thing is phenomenal. So if you were lucky enough to get one of these, this is definitely one of those LEs that I took a chance on. And I'm so glad that I did. Just get on their mailing list, man. That's what I would say to do. They come out with bottles all the time, and you can kind of see who has been picking them, and they've got some really, really good barrels, and they're not all from the same distillery at all. It's kind of all over the place. They don't disclose, I don't believe, on this one where they disclosed where it was distilled. Oh yeah, it does. It does say Indiana. So these is all 8-year MGP. So guys, this is a freaking hitter bottle, and they've been coming out with some hitter bottles, as you've seen. The 8-year that I just was talking about earlier that I got, that Jeff did a review on as well. Coming in at the number 3 spot, I was really, really blown away with this bottle because of the price point, but even more so the depth of flavor. I had a buddy over here just kind of helping me with a list and drinking through some of these and A and B and seeing which one comes out on top. But this is the Copper and Cask that Darrell picked for Yankee Spirit Store. It's an 8-year MGP, and look how dark that stuff is. I mean, it is dark. It's an 8-year MGP. It's from Yankee Spirits. It's a 60.6, so it's 121.2 on the proof. This thing is so oily and viscous. The first time that I drank it and got through, I thought that there was stuff in the bottle because it was just a film that was left on it of just how oily this thing was. And the nose is phenomenal on this thing. So Darrell, great job. And no, I'm not biased about his pick or my pick, but I will say it's just good whiskey. The value of this thing for $60 or $65, whatever it was that we paid for it, really, really good. So that was my number 3. I think the next one might be a little bit of a surprise for some of you if you got to taste it. But for me, this was just a freaking hitter. I love this thing. New distillery. I will say, I think this will be the next big distillery that comes out of Indiana. I really have great high hopes for what they're going to put out in the next few years. The whiskey's young, but my gosh, they're getting some great flavors. This is going to be the Hard Truth. Excuse me, let me turn it around. Hard Truth Caramel Malt Rye. Now, this is a very young rye. I think it's 2.5, maybe even, I don't even know if it's 3 years old. I don't think so. But this particular one is a wide release. This was batch 1, but they're releasing more and more. I think Darrell's number 1 was one of their single barrels. This company right here is going to be put on the map in the next 2 to 3 years. You mark my words. This one is putting out some stellar juice for really like reasonable price for the juice that you're getting. So I think this one was right around $65 or $70. This next one is near and dear to my heart for this year. Now, in the past, it has been up. It has been down. It has been all over the place. And I've tasted like 6 or 7 different single barrels of this next bottle, and I have never been impressed with it until this year. I don't know what they did, if they kept some old juice or what, but man alive, this bottle, my number 1 bottle, has just kind of blown me away. Now, this did score lower for Darrell than it did for me. I think it has to do with the price point and the proof for him. But for me, if I'm just judging, not grudging proof, I'm just judging how good the experience was for me, in my opinion. This year's Michter's 10-year 2023 has been the best whiskey I've tasted this year. That came out this year. So this is everything I wanted Michter's to be and had high hopes for. You know, when I first started getting into whiskey, everybody was like, you got to get a Michter's 10, you got to get a Michter's 10. And I tried all of them, and I was like, man, you guys, I don't know. It's just not that good. It would be, I'd have one that was kind of okay and good, and then the next one would just be fall off and just not be good at all. So, especially for the price point back in the day, I think these were like 150. Now they're up to like 170, something like that. Just to kind of give you, I don't necessarily support secondary, but when I want a bottle and I have to have it, then that's where I go. I was willing to pay $300 for this bottle. So that just tells you how much that once I tasted it, I was like, yeah, I want this bottle. So that's my number one, guys. Thanks for staying with me. These have all been scored, and this was definitely the highest score. I think it was 93 or 4. It was super high for me. From the mouth experience to the finish to the flavor, all of that. The only thing that I will say knock about this is the availability and also the price point. But for that type of juice, I would pay $165. Obviously, I paid $300 for it. Paid double for it, but I wanted it. I had tasted it before, and that's one of those things that you have to gauge for yourself. And if somebody else is paying that money and getting it, and you guys will say, "I'll never pay. I won't pay anything over retail." That's up to you. That's your call. I'm not going to slight either person. To me, I've shared probably half of that bottle just because of how excited I was. That to me is what whiskey is about, and this is what whiskey is about. Just having a community and sharing good whiskey together. Thanks so much, whiskey friends, for hanging out, and we'll see you next time here on Hello Again, Whiskey Friends. Thank you.
Jeff, just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again.